How can I explain what I take away when the autumn falls and we go our separate ways? What is it exactly? How can I describe all that I discovered by that fireside? Some things aren't defined. Some things, they're just right. 'Cause it's more than the green of trees. It's more than the summer breeze, the smell of rocks and water washing over me. It's more than the orange fire. It's more than the fishing wire. It's more than the cabin walls or that morning bugle call. It's something you can't touch, but you can't hold so dear. Étendu dans l'air, dormant sous les étoiles, un lien se forme entre nous, sans que l'on sache pourquoi. Et à partir de ce moment,
Adiós, soldado.
je pourrais briser le sens d'appartenance que ce temps a créé. Some things don't need words. Some things, they just work. 'Cause it's more than the green of trees. It's more than the summer breeze, the smell of rocks and water washing over me. It's more than the orange fire. It's more than the fishing wire. It's more than the cabin walls or that morning bugle call. It's something you can't touch, but you can hold so dear. And maybe it's not much, but I'll be back next year. I'll be back next year.
Gracias al camp vencí mis miedos.
I'll be back next year. It won't be long till the summer comes. Oh, it won't be long. It won't be long till the summer comes. It's more than the green of trees.
Спасибо, лагерь.
It's more than the summer breeze. Till the summer comes. It's more. Oh, it won't be long till the summer comes.
have a pet. I know I have 2 cats, and there you go. So these are all the friendly faces that have pets. We're going to turn off our camera again. Excellent. Now, for the people that are representing Asia today, please turn on your camera. For the people that are representing Asia, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That's so exciting to see you. Okay, now we're going to turn off our camera. I'm going to turn off our cameras. And for the people, if we have anybody representing Africa today, please turn on your camera. If anybody that we have, hey, KB, hi. So exciting. Thank you for representing. This is amazing. And now we'll turn back off our cameras. Is there anybody by chance representing Antarctica today? Probably not. Sometimes it feels like it's Antarctica in Canada.
We just can wish. We just can wish.
Yes. Anybody representing Europe today? Do we have anybody that represents Europe? Hey, Alexia, nice to see you. Wonderful. Hi, Fari. Nice to see you. Let's close our cameras. Do we have anybody representing Australia today? We had quite a few Australians last time, and they might be popping in later, but it's also a probably interesting time for them. And lastly, let's turn on our cameras if you're representing the Americas. If you represent the Americas, so that's South and North America, please turn on your cameras, do a nice wave. Yay, thank you so much. How wonderful. Yay, excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you for getting warmed up with me this morning, this afternoon, or this evening, whatever time zone you are in. This is our final episode of our series, Camps Are in Crisis. And what we have done for 4 episodes is to talk with people from around the world about best practices and how you can bring that back home to you, to your staff, to your campers, and to your families. And what a wonderful way to conclude our events with this panel of wonderful, wonderful individuals that are representing a point of view from around the world. Build a resilient team. And don't we need resilience when it comes to running our camp? Before we continue into our adventure this morning, I'm going to be passing it off to Simon because he has a couple of really interesting things to help us learn a little bit more about Zoom. Simon.
Thank you, Gabs. How you doing, everyone? And this is just a very short crash course on Zoom that we're gonna just learn a little tips about what can happen when you are on a session like this one. So below you can see your Zoom control bar. And I'm Simon from Venezuela. Sorry I didn't introduce myself before. And what we're gonna learn here is now, if you go to the next slide we have, going to the right, you can see if you press on participants on your Zoom bar, it's gonna appear this menu on the right side. When you hit that, what you're gonna be able to do is you can rename yourself, you can change your picture, you can do a lot of different things. If we go to the next slide, we are gonna see that. And then you can, as I said, change your name, rename yourself, change your picture, raise your hand if you want, mute or unmute yourself if you want to participate in the session. And you can also do this if you go to the next slide and click on the bottom, on reactions. So there is a smiling face, and if you click that smiling face, these reactions are gonna pop up. And then you can raise your hand if you want to participate. If things are going slow, you can just press forward, the blue dot. And if you want to laugh or you want to just share with us with an emoji, you can just click on one of those beautiful emojis we have there. Then if you click on chat, the chat on the right side is going to appear. And then you can write, you can type questions, you can say hello, you can tell everyone how are you feeling. And we're going to have a little practice in a few seconds, okay? These are also very important buttons. We have the camera and the mic. If you click on the camera or the mic, the settings are gonna appear. So let's see what happens. If you click on the camera, you're gonna be able to see, to turn on or off your video as Gabs was asking us to do before. And that is gonna show us your beautiful face, or it's just gonna hide it from us, okay? So just be mindful if you wanna be on screen. Also, if you click, no, sorry, I'm going too fast. Okay, if you click on the little arrow next to the camera, the settings for the video are gonna appear, so you can check the lighting, or if you wanna just put some ears on your head, whatever you wanna do, okay? Then we're gonna check on the mic. If you hit on the mic button, these settings are going to appear, and you can mute or unmute yourself. This is the main feature. The rest of it, I don't really understand what is it for, but this is the important thing. Just mute on or unmute. And if you click on the little arrow next to the mic, again, all the settings are going to be displayed. And I guess this is something for, you know, professionals that some want to have. Okay, let's see what else we have. Let's do a little practice here. Let's see if you can use the chat and let us know how are you feeling today for our last episode of a spring season of ICF Academy. So if you're feeling happy, just press a 1 on the chat, please. If you are feeling a little angry, you know, a little hawky, just put it number 2, and so on. If you're taking it cool, please let us know how are you feeling. And that's fantastic. We're seeing a lot of 4s, a lot of 1s. That's great. Thank you very much, everyone, for sharing with us. And let's see what else we have here. Oh, good. This is over. So now it's Gabs and Gwynn third. So remember, the buttons are very important to clear your screen. As Gabs asked us, if you want to have everything clear, just click on participants and chat, and you're only going to see what's on screen, okay? No participants, no chat. Thank you very much. Follow me on my social media if you want to have more tips on Zoom. Thank you very much, and that's all my participation for today. Back to Gabs.
Thank you very much, Simon. I really appreciate it. It's always entertaining hearing you give us our Zoom tutorial. I think you're going to be an influencer soon. So before we enter into our presentation, a couple of housekeepings. One, we ask that you please do mute your Zoom so that we can have clear sound from our presenters. Second, maybe turn off your video, or turn off the non-participants video, which you can do under the video icon. And if you just click on hide non-participants, then you'll have a full view of our presenters. If you would like to ask a question, we love hearing questions. Please put that in the chat. That's the place where we just did the numbers activity that Simon did for us. And please put a Q before your questions. That's going to notify our moderators that you have a question. And Gwynn and I will be asking questions to our panelists after they present. There will also be translations in of the documents in the chat in Russian, Mandarin, and in Spanish. So you can pay attention there if you're looking for some translations. Secondly, also there won't be any breaks during this presentation. So please take care of your own needs. If you need to walk away from your computer or your phone, please do so. Again, just remember to keep it on mute. And finally, we have a fun activity at the very end of today's presentation. So we would ask if everybody could grab a piece of paper at some point during the presentation and a marker or a pencil, because we have a big finish at the very end. Now, without further ado, to kick this off, I would like to welcome my good friend, my mentor, Gwynn Powell, to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. We appreciate you being here from all places. So I want to apologize first because I just realized I cannot add the documents of translation and share my screen at the same time. So after I do these 2 slides, I will pause for a moment, upload the translations, and then we will be good to go. Our plan today is to talk about the ideas behind how to build a resilient staff. because the mental health of our campers and of our staff is so vitally important. It's a little bit different this summer, as we know. We're learning to hug again, as Carolina told us in our very first episode. We're in the long term going to be able to do that. But for this summer, we will likely be doing continued COVID protocols, so camp will feel different. For our staff, we're trying to close that experience gap because many camps were not able to run last year. And so we need to help them bridge that long term. And this summer, dealing with the added layer of stress and the lack of normalcy that is around us all. So it is vitally important for us to build a resilient team. And we want to be able to give our staff content so they have confidence. We want to give them the opportunity to practice so they have confidence. We want to build trust so that if they're not confident, they will tell us so that we can help. We want to check in with them without micromanaging. So we want to build in visible internal checklists. And the best example of this I have seen is from Beth Allison of the Camp Hacker Go Camp Pro, working along with Gabrielle, coming up with 4 different questions about safety, stewardship, servanthood, and self-esteem. And these are 4 questions as an internal checklist that staff can ask themselves. Is what I plan to do next safe, physically, emotionally, and spiritually? Is it being a good steward of the environment? Does it serve the community? And are we building someone's self-esteem? So the idea with building a resilient staff team is to help guide staff to build these internal checklists. Help them know how to answer that question in their mind of how am I going to know if I should do X, Y, or Z? What is my marker for if I have been successful with this? How should I know when to ask for help? So if we can help staff learn these internal questions, it will make a difference. So today we have some wonderful, wonderful guests gathered from around the world who are going to share. And what I'm going to do at this moment, it's a little embarrassing that I need to do this, but I need to do it. I'm going to add these files. So I think you're going to see my Dropbox and you'll see how many millions of files that I have, but I'm lucky that I have this ICF folder where I get to do all kinds of cool things with ICF. And I have a wonderful ICF Academy folder that I should be able to find in any moment right here. There it is. And then I do have a good system here. I see translation folders, and then I can quickly click all of these files. It's only going to let me do one at a time. Okay. Sorry about this, team. My mistake. I'm going to upload it. And then maybe I can do them all from here. Sorry about this. We will get there in a moment. ICF, you get to see my folder system again. ICF Academy, maybe here it will let me select them all at one time. At least I did put them in a folder ahead of time. Yes, it's going to let that happen, I think. All right, it's uploading them all. So now I can go back to the team. Excellent. Sorry about that little interruption. So we're going to start with introducing everyone based on letting you see and hear them. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Rafael Alejandro, Pastor Suárez, Anzola. Everybody knows me as Cachi, so you can catch me anytime, anywhere, any moment. I'm from Venezuela. Right now I live in one of these concrete jungles here in the US in Southern California. Camp is my lifestyle and my passion. I love it. So welcome to Construyendo un Staff de Campamento Resiliente.
Hi, I'm Masako from Japan. ようこそレジリエントなスタッフチーム作りへ。
Hi everyone, we are in Russia. My name is Diana and we are in my camp. Let's see.
Hello, this is Bocheli KB, all the way from South Africa. I'll be doing a session with you guys called Ho Aha Sehlopha Se Tsitsang. And when I said I'm from South Africa, it's quite a big country. I'm from Soweto, Kliptown to be exact. And this is a snip peek of my neighborhood. Good. Ching ching, and see you soon.
I'm Grace Caroline from the United States of America, and welcome to Building a Resilient Staff Team.
Hi, I'm Rafael.
I want to see it again. There we go. All right. So I'm thinking the files did not upload. Is that correct? Can someone tell me if the files uploaded or not? Do you have the translations available?
Not that I can tell.
Gwynn, I can add them, Gwynn, in 2 minutes.
You don't. I'm sorry, you don't have access. They're in my Dropbox, unfortunately.
No, they're not on the chat. So you have to add them on the chat as archives. It doesn't really matter. No worries. We can add them in a few seconds or in a few minutes.
Let me try. I think I have another way to do it. Let me go from here. I ended up copying this morning. So now I have double sets. So I thought I was uploading them, but I wasn't. Okay, give me 1 second.
There we go, Gwen. We see one of the.
All right, documents. I'm getting Japanese. I'm getting. Sorry about that. I'm getting Mandarin. And
this is wonderful.
And I'm getting Russian. I wish I could read all of these, but I do not have those language skills, and Spanish. Okay,
I'm still working on my Spanish one, so no worries.
Okay, so I got English, Japanese, Mandarin, Russian, and Spanish. Okay, excellent. Sorry about that little thing.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Gwen.
So my goal today, as we talk, is for us to really ask ourselves, how are we similar to the stories that we are going to hear? And how are we different? And how are we going to adapt these ideas in order to fit the goals that we have for our own camps? And I want to go ahead and say a sincere disclaimer. When I invited our special guest today, I was not trying to find someone who could say, I know everything about my country. I wanted to find someone who could tell me their story in a compelling way that would share their experience so that you would see the things that we have going together. And we want to be able to enjoy the learning. So our plan for our time together is that we're going to travel around the world through the eyes of some dynamic, energetic young leaders who are going to talk about camp in their country. They're going to talk about what they do to build a staff team. And they're going to talk about how they communicate with their staff when unexpected things happen in camp, because we all know that that happens. And we'll talk about what causes and reduces stress at camp. We would love your questions, so please put them in the chat with a Q in front of them so that Gabs can help organize those and work through them. And then after we hear from each spot around the world, we'll revisit each speaker one more time for some closing thoughts, and then hear some special words from our ICF president, Farid. We will have some audience polls. We'll have that big finish that Gabs told you about. So make sure that you have your paper and you have your big marker available so that we can participate in that at the end. And then if you have time at the very end, we will invite you to participate in some optional breakout rooms so that we can share together. So right now we're going to jump right in. I am thrilled to be able to introduce you to Diana. I've known her since she was 7 years old and was a camper in a camp in the Mariel Republic of Russia. And she was the best English speaker, and she served as my translator as I was a cultural ambassador and teacher of English through Camp Counselors Russia program. and she's going to tell us a little bit about camp in Russia. So please take it away, Diana.
Thank you, Gwen. Hello, everyone. I'm really happy to be here with you today, and I really want to talk you about. I really want to tell you about camps in Russia. So the important fact is there are more camps in Russia than the rest of the world. Historically, 2-3 week long overnight, and now school days, day camps are growing too. Programming are around dance, sports, arts, and team building. In the past, camp directors didn't market directly to the parents. They connected with agencies. So the employers provide camp for the employee children. The Department of Social Services provides a voucher, or children won competition to go to the elite camps. Now more camps market directly to parents, but it's a big challenge to help parents understand why they should pay. So in our camp, we built a resilient team by daily planning meetings, many creative outlets as a team, evening activities, dance performances, special activities. We hold collective staff training in the spring rather than mega dose right before the summer, before camp. We gather with staff often during the year for tea, for example. When we need to deal with the unexpected, we use frequent communication. We have less unexpected circumstances due to the daily planning meetings. We talk quickly with the program directors, and then we talk to staff. Staff have access to telephones or walkie-talkies. We can adapt quickly with fluid schedules. So our stressors are long staff meetings, children's access to telephones, frequent visits by camper parents. But we can reduce the stress with rotating staff to cover camper groups while staff have day off. I have a professional psychologist on staff, open to direct communication to solve our problems. Great staff team made by being creative with each other. Long history of camp in Russia, so people want to work at camp.
Thank you so much, Diana. And one of the special things also that's happening with Diana is that she and her husband are opening a brand new camp this summer. They have leased a camp and will be operating camp as the lead directors for the first time this summer. So when you think about your staff team, I know that you pair your staff together as small teams. And what do you do when those pairs have conflict with each other? What if the pairing doesn't work? How do you handle it?
Oh, okay. Thank you for the question. Indeed, such situations occur periodically every year to every summer, 2 or 3 times. And first we try to discuss with each of the counselor his disconnect, and also we have a psychologist, and he can help us a lot. So the psychologist works not only with children but with staff too, because they also have their problems, and in the process of work they sometimes need help and support.
Excellent. Let's give her a hand. We appreciate this overview. We'll hear more from you in a little bit later. Excellent job. And our next speaker that we're going to hear from is a dynamic faculty member and board member with the Japanese Camp Association. And she also specializes in working with children who are deaf. And so she's going to tell us a little bit about camp in Japan. Let's welcome Masako. Yay.
Thank you, Gwen. So I'm very happy to speak about Japanese camp, my camp. So almost all elementary schools, junior high, and high schools carry out active learning programs with lodging. Students learn communication skills and life skills, or experience nature through various activities such as cooking outdoors, campfire, hiking. This is the biggest opportunity for children to join camp-like programs. Some college and university also provide camps as intensive course. Other camps are provided by NPO, NGO, facilities, companies, organizations, volunteers. So in Japan, the scale of each camp is very small. Nature experience is very popular. A lot of Japanese camp leaders think that nature is the most important element for camping. About my camp, Deaf Adventure Camp is organized for deaf children. 5 to 10 deaf children participate, only 5 to 10. Stay in tents and cook all the meals outdoors. The main program is a 15-kilometer expedition and bivouacs at the base of Mount Fuji. At our camp, we try to have as many opportunities as possible for the staff to spend time together. Deaf staff and hearing staff work together, so it takes a long time to understand each other's cultural differences or to find a way of communication that can understand each other. Before the camp program, we go to check out the expedition course and bivouac sites, or have dinner together to get to know each other. During the 9 days and 8 nights of camp, we have meeting every night to share any problems or difficulties each staff are having. So we are talking in sign language. So I always try to create an atmosphere where the young staff can talk to me, the director, about anything. Our camp be flexible due to small, decentralized structure. If something goes wrong, for example, in a campus says, I don't want to go hiking today. So we may delay the start of programs or change its content in order to talk freely among the staff and with the children. Sometimes we cannot do anything for a whole day, but the staff does not feel pressure to go ahead with programs at all costs. And the most important thing is that the children are satisfied and comfortable with the activity. Many stresses. In particular, the group leaders spend most of their time with the children during camp. They also cook meals with children all the time, which can be very tiring. Some of the staff members are full-time workers and have taken time off to work for the camps. But if fundraising is not successful, we may not be able to pay enough honorarium to the staff members. There are cases when hearing staff members who are not very fluent in sign language try to lead deaf children, but sometimes they cannot communicate, cannot convey the message, and cannot get children's attention. Those leaders may lose confidence, hesitate to connect with children. We provide time for staff to rest away from the children. For example, chatting over snacks and drinks after evening meetings so that they can recover and regain their energy. The tent for staffs are separate from the children so that they can have a good night's sleep. On the 5th day, the middle day of the camp, we have what we call Camp Sunday, where the group leaders don't have to take care of the children for half a day from morning to lunch, and they can wake up and eat whenever they want. The children cook breakfast and lunch on their own, and at lunch, children deliver one meal to their group leaders. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time very much. So what is one of the unique challenges of working with children who are not hearing?
My friend of son, he is deaf. I started this camp 10 years ago. That is a very small camp, but I feel this opportunity is very happy and rare experience for me. So I really want to continue to prepare.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Let's give Masako a round of applause. Thank you very much. Very exciting. It's a great program that really makes a difference for these campers. So our next trip, we're going to be able to travel to the United States. And I'm very happy to introduce Grace Caroline Bell. She's an undergraduate student in the department where I teach, which is the Park Recreation Tourism Department at Clemson. And the very first day I saw her, I knew she was a camp person. And she has gotten involved in lots of different activities with ICF and with ACA. And I'm delighted for her to give us an overview about camp in the United States. So take it away, Grace Caroline.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome, Gwynn. So let's dive right into what camp in the United States looks like. So there are a multitude of different kinds of camp and ways that camp can be programmed and run. So we start off with the terms day camp and overnight camp, often also referred to as residential camp, which kind of speaks for itself. We have 4 different business models for camp. The first one being nonprofit. Of course, this camp is not for profit, and many times they're associated with other nonprofit companies, such as the YMCA. There are also for-profit camps, which of course have camp in order to make some money. There are government-funded camps, and then there are also partnerships, such as the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, who will fund a camp for their organization. We have 3 different kinds of programming for these camps, such as traditional, where you do normal play things at camp, such as go canoeing or playing volleyball and doing other fun activities every day. You have specialty camps where campers focus on one thing, such as American football for football camps, or a theater camp for finding your theater skills. And then we also have academic camps, such as the science, technology, engineering, and math camps, or what we refer to as STEM. So how do we build resilient teams in the US? For training, we usually have a 1 weekend training during the off season, more so in the spring. For example, my camp holds theirs in April, or we have a 1 week training right before camp to get counselors into the swing of things. Usually upper staff, which consists of like program staff that are seasonal, meets before this training to coordinate and plan ahead for the summer, such as plan the actual training, because there is a clear hierarchy. Through these distinguished roles between counselor and upper staff, since this clear hierarchy is created, the line of command kind of eliminates power struggles and helps us communicate better. When communicating, there are weekly all-staff meetings between sessions where we discuss the positives and negatives of the past week and changes for the week ahead. And occasionally, and depending on the camp, there are lunchtime meetings where small daily things are discussed, such as evening programming implementation or preparation throughout the day. We can tell when our staff is resilient through noticing good, clear communication between cabins in a cohort or group. For example, during COVID, many camps were split up into different little groups and sections, many times by age group or gender. So these really tight working cabins, working closely together and efficiently and effectively, is a great example of how our staff came together to form a resilient team. And also, when changes in schedules or opportunistic campers are handled with ease and with a full team united front, that's a great example. And especially when changes are implemented during the ever-changing thing that is summer camp, and the needs of campers are efficiently met and appropriated. So, how do we find resiliency in the unexpected at camp? So in an immediate situation, the upper staff will use walkie-talkies to communicate, kind of like Dana was talking about in Russia. And the upper staff member will then find the counselors in the need to know and inform them of what's going on, and then the counselor's word can spread from there to their cohorts. If the situation is not immediate, word of mouth from person to person is how we communicate. The upper staff member that needs to know will go tell the counselor that needs to know, and then the counselor will tell the kids that needs to know. It's very casual. And then if it's an all staff matter, then an upper staff meeting is held first. And then the campers are gathered into their respective cohort areas about their different sides of camp, and upper staff members will watch them while the rest of staff is brought to a central area of camp, such as the basketball court, and debriefed on everything, and then released back into their camper cohorts. Now, finally, let's talk about stress and what relieves it at camp. For counselors, most camps run on the same schedule day by day and week by week. This presents the problem of trying to make campers conform to the same daily activities every single day, which we all know could be a little hard by addressing things like boredom or lack of interest, especially when you have one camper that doesn't want to participate and the rest of your campers do. We also have to address the fact that you're continually feeling as if you're forcing yourself and your campers to enjoy an activity. So if there's an activity such as kickball and none of your campers want to do it and it's kind of hot out, so you don't want to do it either, that's obviously going to put some stress on our counselors. Similarly, stress for upper staff is seeking ways to energize and restore staff. So we don't really know how to do that sometimes, especially when our counselors have already gotten into a dull lull that near the end of camp, since many of our counselors stay for a long time during the summer. And this can be hard to do in a normal summer, let alone a COVID summer, where counselors are in small cohorts or pods, continuously surrounded by the same campers and the same counselors, and everything is just so same. And then it's also hard to create an environment where physical and mental wellness is a priority for counselors, since we try to make things like safety and kids having fun and the acceptance of our campers, we find it really hard to focus on ourselves and the acceptance of ourselves and our own mental and physical abilities. And how we relieve some of these stressors that I have just talked about is we have weekly rewards for staff, such as superlatives at the end of the week, such as Counselor of the Week or Best Boy or Girl Counselor. And then we also implement things called staff activities, or as I like to call them, stafftivities, to keep counselors on the toes and regularly interacting with other staff, such as an arts and crafts night in your cohort groups, making sure that you're away from campers, taking time for yourself, and having a nice restorative environment to fall back on. And then finally, making daily check-ins with each staff member on a regular routine helps to monitor how our staff is doing during the week and during the rest of the summer.
Thank you so much, Grace. I really appreciated your presentation, and I appreciated the emphasis on communication within your organization, and that seems to be a priority. And in some ways, I liked what you were talking about, that there's an official way of approaching things, but then sometimes there's that side where it's just a little bit more casual, as you were saying. For you, could you tell me about a moment where the communication happened really well and it really decreased the stress level of your staff members?
Yes, I have the perfect example of this.
Wonderful.
So last summer, we had started camp before the pandemic hit my part of the United States, and we had to reassess a lot of things that we were doing about a quarter of the way through our session. And it was awesome because all of the upper staff had met before, and all of the upper counselors were like, what's going on? What are they meeting about? And then they gathered all of the campers into their little cohorted cabins, and the upper staff member that's assigned to the cohort cabin went and watched them, and then we all were gathered on the basketball court and told exactly what we needed to know, exactly what we were going to be doing, and exactly how it was going to go down for the rest of the day. So I think my camp director did an amazing job of gathering us all, telling us the same information that the upper staff needed to know, so we were all on the same level playing field with the same information and the same awesome way of approaching things.
What a great answer. And my takeaway from that is that no matter how large your staff is or the hierarchy, when there's pertinent information, let's make sure everybody is on the same page, and that can really decrease anxiety. And that also lets everybody know what's happening behind the scenes, because sometimes we're imagining the worst thing, but when you have the information in front of you, then that's when the calmness and the you know what to do next. Grace, I just want to say thank you so much for presenting today.
Thank you.
Thank you for those great questions. And now we're going to travel to South Africa. So Kabelo is the amazing leader of Camp Sizanani, which takes place in South Africa. And he also, everyone say, congratulations, he just got married this weekend. And so we're very excited for him. Yes, yes, yes. So please tell us about your program in South Africa.
Good morning, good day, good afternoon, and good night to some people all over the world. I'm Kabelo Malefane. So I run a camp called Camp Sizanani. I'm actually a camp manager there under Global Camps Africa. So our camp is basically a camp that addresses serious health needs of the kids, focusing on HIV/AIDS, life skills education, team building, and STI prevention. But what the aim of this camp does is that it takes a group of kids, 135 at a time. In a year, we run 3 camp sessions, mainly during our hot seasons and then besides winter. So we've got 4 school terms, and we will use 3 school terms to run our camp. And we will take 135 kids to camp. And yet these camps will empower these campers with good life skills and leadership sessions. Unemployment is a huge factor when it comes to our camp because we work with volunteers, and most of our volunteers are young people who are seeking skills, who are seeking that experience to give them an opportunity to enter the job market. And this is where we find most of them, after leaving our camp, going to work for other non-governmental organizations, either working there as child youth care workers or lay counselors, because of the experience that they have received at camp. Next slide. During our camps, we hold a 4-day camp training. It is very intense, where staff members from all walks of life just come together, and they are taught about how to work with children, how to make sure that they present the material we are giving them to the best of the child's ability, and how to make sure that the children will understand what we are doing. So we make sure that these trainings focus on all the activities that we have per session. We have 7 activities a day, and the kids are divided into 10 cabins. We call them cabins, so cabin A up until cabin J. And then these kids will go through all the activities throughout the day. And what we found with making sure that we build small groups, teachers who come to our camp with their children actually find that we make learning a very enjoyable activity, because in our class we will have 15 kids, whereas where these kids come from back in the communities in Soweto, there will be like 40 kids in one class, all cramped up, and the teacher does not even pay attention to all of them. So the model that we use at camp will be just to make sure we specifically create these small groups that the children can hear and understand everything we say. With our camps, we have our residential camps. And during COVID, we then had a lot of sessions where we had our day camps. And these day camps allowed us to have funding from PEPFAR, where it allowed us to have day camps with 100 kids, but girls, focusing on their dreams program. And it was only meant for the girl child. And we are continuing with that because of COVID. And we are approaching schools to make sure that schools understand that we will follow the right protocols and make sure that every kid will be safe from harm and every kid will not take any of the illnesses back home. So at camp, we have social workers, we have social auxiliary workers, we have counselors, and we have the lay counselors. The hierarchy of that is that a kid will talk to a lay counselor who we call a vocelli inside their cabin. And if the story comes and the camper says, you know, before coming to camp, I got raped back at home. The lay counselor, because you are not trained on how to handle these cases, it is then your duty to take it over to the social worker or to the social auxiliary worker, who will then build a case and see how we can assist this child. Most of our kids come from child-headed homes, or they just lost their parents, or they're staying in children's homes. So we try by all means to make sure that this multidisciplinary team that we have built around camp is able to assist this child. Our education is also somewhat not that good, that our organization has now started what we call an academic program. So we have these online tutors coming in and saying, if a kid has a problem, how can we assist? Because running camps needs funds. So our campers only come to camp once, and then we provide what we call youth clubs. Youth clubs assist these kids on a bi-weekly program, that as much as I can't go back to camp in Mahalis away from home, at least I can still get to see my vocellis, those are the counselors, and other of my camp mates on a Saturday, where we will have something of a day camp program for the whole Saturday. And sometimes it is a continuation of a counseling session that the kids have been going to. Some of these opportunities that camp has provided for our staff, for instance, is getting an opportunity to work in the United States at the different summer camps. I found myself also being one of those lucky ones to say I work with Camp Starlight every summer. And one thing that we learned over the years was, don't just go over to the United States and not bring something back with you. And how this was effectively used was in one camp session, we saw how the American camps do Camp Olympics. And we said, as much as we have a 7-day camp program, how can we bring this back home? And when we got home during our staff training, I made a team of everyone who went over to the United States. And I said, how is your Camp Olympics looking like in the United States? We mentioned all these things, but one other thing was that in the United States, finances at these particular camps is not such a huge problem. So they have all these materials. And then we said, now looking at the area we are in South Africa, how can we bring this back to us and make sure that the kids experience the same excitement as the kids we serve back at home? Because whether we like it or not, from the slide that we just played, that because of camp, all the people that were happy on those videos are camp people and they are kids. And that is our duty as camp counselors. We want to serve and make sure that these kids have the best camp ever, but also taking care of our staff. So how do we do that? So our staff, we have what we call tests. During camp, we'll say an announcement, we want to go. Staff members will be writing a test tonight at 8. What that basically means is that counselors will be going for a meeting. Over the years, we got to learn, you know how at first as you're trying the camps, because it's something new in your community, you do all these things and hoping you will get results. But these meetings will take long. So we said, okay, the test will only be a meeting where we start giving, first we give encouraging words to one another, and then whatever we did not meet during a short meeting of your program with the camp manager, we can then discuss about it, but not making Kevin A listen on a Kevin J problem. So the little kids have their own problems, the older kids have their own problems. Those can be done during the day as camp progresses. Counselors always advise to solve problems on their own, and if needed be, the camp manager will be the mediator. And what this does is that it shows that the camp believes in its counselors, and it gives them the power to take risks, healthy risks though, so that they know that they can go anywhere in the world and be able to achieve whatever they want. So we try by all means that we don't only empower our campers, but we empower our kids to become even better adults within their own communities. So the stressors at camp, as I mentioned earlier on, kids find camp to be this environment that takes them away from home. You might have a kid who comes to camp and it is their first time sleeping on a bed. It is their first time having 3 meals a day. It is the first time an adult says, "How can I help you?" And these things the counselors are trained with, it is theory. And when they start to realize this, practically, it becomes a huge stressor to say, I didn't know I will face a kid who sees me as a role model and actually tells me they need my help because they've been abused at home. So now we say, let's see how we can assist the kids, but by making sure that the counselor does not use his or her own life experiences to influence the decision that the kid needs to take after. Because even our counselors also come from the same neighborhoods like these kids. They might have been raped, they might have been living under dire financial constraints or poor lifestyles, I beg your pardon. So we make sure that our counselors, as much as the kids, they understand their roles when it comes to camp, to say, I am here to offer a helping hand, but I'm not promising to do anything for you, as we have a social worker and we have a nurse, we have someone on site who can assist you now. But going back home, there will also be someone who you'll be referred to. Hence, our model as Camp Sizanani Life Skills is strongly based on partnerships. We make sure we partner with different organizations because we realize that as an organization on our own, we cannot achieve all these things on our own. We need each and every one of us within the community to build these kids that we want them to be. You know, camp is that place that helps you become what you have dreamt of becoming, but never thought you would become. So camp can easily help you to do that. That is Camp Sizanani. And then the stress reducers is making sure that we open the platform for counselors to say, if you seek help, please come and see the camp director. If you see that your co-counselor seeks help, please report so that we can all assist one another. And we also advise counselors, sleep early, take your breaks. We know it can be exciting to go join in on other activities, but it is also important to rest whilst you're having this fast-paced program. Next slide. Any questions for me?
Yes, so many.
No problem, no problem.
But I have time to ask one. First, I just want to say I am a fellow alumni Vocelli. Hello, I worked at Camp Sizanani. I went to South Africa twice. I had the privilege to work with the wonderful Vocellis at Sizanani and meet the wonderful the campers that were there. And it has, of course, impacted me in the most positive of ways. And I thank you for all the work that you're doing. It's just so wonderful. We will catch up later. I want to hear all of it. My main question is, and I love what you're talking about, and I think this is what camp directors do. We raise children, but we also raise our staff. We're also teaching them the life skills. We're also teaching, like you're talking about, the need to come forward, but also the time to problem solve. And you have wonderful guidelines and boundaries on this is a camp counselor's role, this is a social worker's role. This is, for me, all of this is you know, that's as we're turning into adults, such important life lessons, and primarily for camp counselors not to refer back to their own personal life experiences, but to create space for campers. My question for you, everything that you're doing sounds so wonderful. My question for you is, if you had more time, if you had more time with your staff members, or you had more time in the year with your staff, what would you like to do to help continue that professional and personal development? What's one of your dreams?
To offer an ongoing support to them instead of just once in a week or once in a school term, to offer them a lifelong employment, to see them upscaling themselves, even getting bursaries for them to go and study. Because right now, education is one of the things that if you don't have, you are not going to make it as far as you want to. So if Camps Sizanani and Global Camps Africa will come up with that, finances being a problem, building our own campsite, I see that as a vehicle that can offer a stability to so many of our young people and even our kids that we serve, because now we only get to serve for 7 days, but having your own property without leasing or renting anything out, you can serve the kids on an ongoing process. Yeah.
And what a dream and what a goal. And a lot of camp directors that have been doing this for a long time, like myself, you know, you start with that dream, and 10, 15 years later, when you build on it bit by bit, it's, before you look at it, it's there, just like Camp Sizanani grew and grew and has such a wonderful impact. I also just want to say,
saw a message.
Yes.
I just saw a message from Georgie. Yes. The lifespan of a Bocelli, right now we're saying as you reach the age of 35, you are excused from being in the program, and then you become an alumni. But what was happening before was that you could become a Bocelli until you decide to say, no, I found a job, I can't make it anymore. Because we do have those who go on and have careers working in law firms, in clinics and all that. Others are becoming teachers, and they still come back and say, I think being a Bocelli is much exciting than being a teacher. One actually shared a video right now to say, at my school, we were singing, and I also started singing, and the teachers watched me and said, what are you doing? Because there's kids singing. And I said, this is part of me that I miss most, being at camp where I will just be singing with the kids. So yes, when you reach 35, we then advise you to become an alumni to the program.
And to support the program. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
We have another question. Is camp under a government organization? Is it under education or health?
It is under, it is a multi-sector, because we are under health, we are under education also. So when we seek for funding, we are able to say we can seek funding under education, therefore we can then sponsor our academic program. And then right now we can seek funding under health. If we receive it, we can then run life skills and educate young girls about teenage pregnancy, educate young boys about circumcision, or anything that has to do with their lifestyle and how they live.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I again, really appreciate the work that you're doing and the words that you shared with us today. Thanks so much.
No, pleasure. Pleasure's all mine.
Thank you so much, Kabelo. Such an inspiration for sure. And I am excited to be able to introduce our guest from Venezuela, Cachi. He has so much energy and enthusiasm. We have been able to present together at the American Camp Association, and he always brings such wonderful energy. And he has lots of experience at camp in Venezuela and is now in the United States and working in sales after working in camps in the US as well pre-COVID. So take it away, Cachi.
Let's go. Let's do this. Hi, thank you. So I want to explain a bit how camp looks like in Venezuela, like Camp 101, right? So pretty much camp, more than a B2C kind of business in Venezuela, we're more a B2B, right? Because we work directly with the corporations. Companies in Venezuela are obligated by law to do social benefits to their employees. So to give them the social benefit, we get to the enterprise and we're like, hey, we're your ally. We can help you out with that. Here's our program. And we can give you that social benefit that way you accomplish with the law through our services as a camp. So pretty much we adapt ourselves to the company's need for the session. So for each session, we do have private camps, also like private sessions where the parent can enroll their kid for the private session. But the main profit for big camps comes from these corporate packages, right? So we have also, similar than the US, day camps and overnight camps. Usually day camps last 5 days. We have the other on the weekends, so Saturday and Sunday, we just prepare for the next session. Or we do also have the overnight camps where we just go from one session to the other in a row, and they last the 7 days, right? So for me, that connection that we need to create between the whole family, so the camper, the company, with the parent, that's the most important goal that we have as an organization, as camps. And the basic structure of our camp starts with like morning activities. So every day we have a value. All days concentrating that value. It depends on the company and needs. So like, for example, if we're working with a company that works with agriculture or Procter & Gamble or whatever company it is, they have their own values that they pick that they want us to teach the kids during the week. That way the kid can connect of a sense of belonging of what their parents do with the company, so with what the job the parents perform at the work. Okay, so after we do this little play, teaching them the value of the day, they go to the morning activities with the camper group. So like with the little cabin groups, and they go like to horses, they go to ropes activities, to whichever activity they have, and they go rotating during these activities in the morning. Now in the afternoon, we do what are called the special activities. That involves the whole camp, and depending on the theme that we use to explain the value. So let, for example, say the play in the morning was about pirates, and we were explaining the value of respect through a play that was about pirates. So the game in the afternoon, it could be a treasure hunt. And at the end, what they find is the value itself. And that's the activities that we usually do in the afternoon that involves the whole camp, and it mix the groups in larger activity groups. So for a camp, really is an opportunity to educate and lead the values of family, friendship, and community in an entertaining way. So a camp is a great school to learn to be that family, father, and son. For us to build that resilient staff, we train them the whole year. So we grab our meetings, are open meetings. So counselors can go, and that way the training is not paid. The way that we pay you is because we are giving you training, right? In that sense. They go to these meetings like a book club. So each week they start going. There are open meetings at the beginning. Then we close the staff meetings and we pick the people that we saw that were more interested on these open meetings, and they can start coming to these private meetings during the rest of the year to prepare for the sessions. Before the sessions, we do have what we call the counselors weekend. That's a special weekend where counselors stay at camp and pretty much they live the experience of camp, but it's a camp for the counselors itself. So that way they already finish their training with this kind of graduation that they have living at camp, having that experience. Then we use the camp that we hire depends on the necessities that the company has. So some sessions we need 90 people in staff. Some sessions we only need 15, or we have several sessions of 15 people in staff in different locations. So depending on those needs that we have at the moment, depending on the companies that have hired us, we do those meetings and explain to them. So we do the meetings to prepare for the session. We leave like homework to the counselors. So we do a first kickoff staff meeting to tell them what's the company that we're going to be dealing with, what's the goals, and what we need to accomplish with this company during the session. Then we do a follow-up meeting to see what the counselors have done so far with the planning of the activities that we're going to have for the week. And pretty much we try to close already having everything ready and prepared, so we can have two or three more Twitch meetings before the session starts. Then during the sessions, we always have staff meetings every night. That way we can follow up with the company during the day to see what they have liked so far, what they want us to switch a bit. Like if they had, like for example, we had all day fun activities with water, then the company says, we don't want the kids to get wet anymore. So we need to adapt the program depending on the needs that we're getting from the company. Pretty much, we teach all of that to our campers through simple tools. We have, like we call in Venezuela, the Camp Bible is this book over here, seriously fun. Everything that you need to teach a staff is over there. Like not only counting counselors, if not also camp directors, camp coordinators, like everything you need to do at camp is in that little, well, it's not little book, but it's like in that book that explains everything. And we use the camp philosophy pyramid that pretty much consists, this pyramid for me doesn't only work for camps, it works for life. The base of the pyramid is safety. If people don't feel safe, if people don't feel secure, they're not going to be able to accomplish anything. They're not going to be able to enjoy any activity. So that's the base of any activity that you perform in life. Can be singing a song, can be playing a game. Anything that we do, we need that safety. Safety is priceless. Then we have fun. That's what kids see. Pretty much the middle is what kids see. It's what our customers see. It's what people see when they're performing an activity. They need to have fun. They need to play. They need to enjoy, have enjoyment of the activity. Because if they have fun, they can perform pretty much amazing things. And what's that amazing thing that we need to accomplish is learning. So the learning is the goal, the peak of the pyramid. What we need to teach, like I said to kids, this is the golden rule over there in the pyramid. So the golden rule is that you can only have fun if you learn something. If you don't learn something, you really didn't have fun. And if you didn't have fun, you didn't learn anything. So the only way to learn is to have fun. And what we're learning is values to teach kids to be those leaders for tomorrow. So the other tool that we use is the motivational curve. So you may ask, what is this ghost camp, bell over there, this statistic? Well, this statistic bell, it's like the way that we seek to pretty much see how the activity is going. So for us, the activity needs to begin with that enthusiasm. So this measures pretty much emotions to the activities. Of course, it can reach a peak, but if it reaches a peak, you cannot avoid a decline for the next time that you perform this activity. So the question that we may ask about this curve every time we do any activity, like I said, singing a song, playing a game, whatever it is, where do you cut the curve? So you cut the curve before it reaches peak. That way you leave people with hunger for more. You leave them with the want of wanting to play and wanting to have fun with that same activity again. It's like if you play hide and seek during the whole day, then you tell them, well, let's play hide and seek again. The next day, they're going to be like, we played yesterday during the whole day. If you just play by 15 minutes or 5 minutes during a day, and they're like, hey, let's keep on playing. I want to play more. And you tell them, no, we're over. We need to go to horses. We need to go to the special activity now. Then you leave them with hunger for more. And when you perform that activity again, you're always going to want to keep on playing, pretty much. So how we handle the unexpected? For me, in Venezuela, with such a difficult environment, resilience in a staff is in our DNA. Like resilience in people is in our DNA. So that's why we do the everyday staff meetings every night. And we need to check. So if it's overnight camp, what we need to do is we divide the staff. So not every staff member is part of the night meeting, because some of them needs to be with the kids. So half of the staff is in the staff meeting, the other half is taking care of the kids. The next night it switches. If it's day camp, kids don't sleep at camp, but staff do. So we grab the whole staff and pretty much do a feedback and an evaluation of how the day were going, how we're doing so far with the session, and what we're going to do to improve, what we're going to change to do those little tweaks. Now, about stress, I just want to show that little video to see how stress looks like in Venezuela.
Sáquenle la pluma y véndalo allá. No tiene remedio, pues véndalo a medio Si no tiene remedio, pues venga a medio.
Yeah, so how you can see, that's stress in Venezuelan camp. So we debrief our stress by pretty much enjoying ourselves doing our work, because camp, more than a work, is a lifestyle, right? We need to see it like that. So for us, we don't have staff breaks on our camp like schedules, because we don't have time for that pretty much. So the staff breaks are those little times that of course you do have, but they're not in the schedule. It's not like here that you have like 2 hours or 3 hours like in your schedule that each counselor has. I know that from 2 to 5 I'm gonna go rest. No, it's pretty much whenever you have those chance to de-stress, to rest, you do gonna have it in those dead times. But it's not in the schedule, especially for day camps. Overnight camps, we do, like I said, those switch of the staff that handle the kids on the moment. Then they do the meeting in a way. We try to do it short, that way they can rest a bit more. And the stress reducers are pretty much having fun. And like I said, using the pyramid again, every time that we have fun, we learn something. And every time we learn something is because we're having fun. So that's the only way. And that way we make that resilience part of our DNA. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Cachi. I really appreciated your words today. So wonderful. And for me, with some of the things that I heard that really stood out was DNA, resiliency, fun, learning. It's part of our DNA. And I can tell you from being part of the International Camping Congress, I've always enjoyed hanging out with my brothers and sisters from Venezuela, because we did have a lot of fun and there was a lot of dancing and singing, and can't help but have a smile on your face. I'd like to talk a little bit about the book, the Bible that you brought, and that everything's in it. I'm wondering if you had the opportunity to update this Bible, to put in some of the experiences that you learned in your career as a camp professional when it has to do with staff and resiliency. What would you add to this book?
Well, I like, for me, this book has everything. It has teach me, and you see, like Gwynn said, that it's because it has a lot of care, right? I think it's because it's an ancient book of wisdom.
Yes.
What I think I could add, like for real, I don't think I could add anything, like being completely humble that it's already not teaching us there. But maybe, like you said, from personal experiences,
Yes.
so maybe more camp stories about examples of everyday life in camp. So like real life, like giving more examples of like a taste of a bit of like how is handling camp in a Venezuela, where like you need to deal with, you have an 1,000 kid corporate package, and result that there's no enough meat in the supermarkets to deal for the food that we need to supply for the company. So how you deal with that? So you need to find food that, so like it's a lot of different issues that the situation of the country gives, that you need to adapt. So pretty much those stories are just going to show more of that DNA that is resilience. So just giving more examples a bit of that.
Yeah, providing the examples, providing the everyday, and sometimes when we see those examples, it makes us feel not alone, because we're all experiencing some form of that example or some form of that story. And I think that's what Gwynn was talking about at the very beginning. What are some of the similarities that we all have when we're all from different parts of the world? And I just want to thank you very much for your talk today. Your passion for your children and for your campers really came through. Thank you so much, Gwynn.
Thank you.
So we have one round left. We're going to hear some closing words from each of our wonderful guests.
Yes.
So now's the time to have your paper out, take your marker, and write a wish for the camping world, or share an action step, because after we hear from folks, we'll have a chance to hold those up to the screen to be able to share. So I'm delighted to give each of our presenters the opportunity to share some closing thoughts. And what I asked them to answer was, what is important for the world to know right here, right now, about the staff situation for you. So everyone will have about a minute to be able to share with us their ideas. Diana.
Yeah, we want to be together. We are a very close team. Many returning counselors, so the team doesn't change much from year to year. We live in the same town, and we are all friends both in the camp and outside it. It's easier to work because we know each other and we are friends. Our three guiding words, the most important words for us: you are an example, you are a friend, and you are a support. We are a huge family in which everyone is welcome.
Thank you so much, Diana. Masako.
Yes. Firstly, one important thing is to make sure that we can create a strong relationship with the staff. They are friendly, care for each other, and they trust me. And most importantly, I want to help them find their own joys and aspirations in camp. Each member can find their own goals. In other words, set things they want to accomplish at the camp so that they will still stay motivated. If a problem arises, then I want them to try to do something about it instead of just thinking, what should I do?
Thank you so much, Masako. Grace Caroline.
I want people to know that camp is so important. And I know that you all know that, but especially with COVID separation, staff, I feel like, are sinking into a hole where they lose themselves and the world around them. This is where the importance of togetherness and the importance of a true escape at camp is just so important. Camp is a place where not only campers need special attention to maintain their childlike composure, but staff need that as well. We all need camp in some way. Society needs camp, staff needs camp, and especially the campers and campers' families need camp to create a space where it's possible to re-find yourself this year, and it's imperative to staff resilience.
Thank you so much, Grace Caroline. Cabello.
Now I'm good. Realizing that unemployment is a huge factor to our camping world. Most of our staff are looking forward to the pandemic going past and us getting to go back to our jobs in the United States and having camps in South Africa more frequently. Partnerships with some camps in the US for seasonal camp jobs is an opportunity for work for our staff and a way to provide for their families. So we have a great staff. Highly recommended to come and ready to serve at your camp. Happy to connect with you if you need a highly motivated staff from South Africa. That's where I will leave it.
They're wonderful, wonderful staff members that can bring their skills right to your camp. So Cachi is going to give his thoughts and he's going to share them in Spanish.
Well, for me, a camp is that it's a life experience to grow as a person, receiving and giving love, you know. So I'm just going to read, this is a prayer for me. I read every day in the morning as a camp person that describes what's a camp counselor according to a poem in Spanish, so according to a poet. ¿Qué es un guía de campamento? Según un poeta. Es un arquitecto de los sueños, un pintor de muchas sonrisas, un médico para curar los miedos y vencer las dificultades, un administrador de esfuerzos con mención resistencia física, un defensor de los derechos de la naturaleza, un comunicador veraz de las ideas, un diseñador del orden y de la limpieza, un politólogo del liderazgo y el trabajo en equipo. El profe preferido de todos que nos enseña los valores esenciales de las personas y las cosas más importantes de la vida. Gracias.
So beautiful, so beautiful. I am so indebted to each one of you for sharing your stories with us today. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. We have a few more things coming up, but I want to give sincere gratitude to each one of our speakers. In my mind, you really are the future of this profession, and this is a crucial time for us to be able to hear your voices and be able to think about all of the things that we need to be paying attention to help support each other across the globe. And a quick reminder, the big finish is coming up. The big finish is coming up. So get that paper out and be getting ready. And now Gabs is going to introduce our ICF president.
I believe we're going to be going to our poll.
I'm wrong. We get to do a poll. We get to hear from you all first. Excellent.
Yes, we have a poll that's going to be put up momentarily, and your answers really help guide us and how we can serve you best. So we'll take a couple of minutes, maximum 2, to just fill out this poll, and so that we can understand what your needs, and ICF can, as much as possible, help to create those connections or provide those services for you. Do we have any music by chance, Simon? Because that could be.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
It's coming up. Can you see the poll, Gabs?
I can see the poll. Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing our poll. That's going to be very helpful to us. I'd like to present our ICF president, Fari.
Hello, friends. It's been another great ICF Academy session. Thank you, Gwen. Thank you, all the participants. Thank you, all the participants attending this part. And I just came back from Russia late midnight, just a couple of hours ago, and I'm excited to watch this. Be a part of this session. And I just would like to say a few words. There is many associations in different parts of the world, and they're doing great jobs. For example, ACA in the United States, ACA in Australia, OCA, CCA, Turkish Campus Association, Mongolian Campus Association, and they are doing a lot of things. And they did a lot of things during this pandemic, and they tried to keep their membership together. They tried to they did their best to inform all the camp community, all the parents, all the governmental partners about what's going on. But ICF's role is a little bit different. We are not focusing in one country's regulations or achievements. So we are trying to bring everyone together and make the information useful for everyone. So as we already know, that ICF has 3 main roles. Like, one is ICF connects. So that's what we are doing, connecting people from different parts of the world. And ICF helps to develop. So this is why we have this ICF Academy. This is why we have the ICC congresses. There's also ICF cares. ICF cares about its members. ICF cares about children. ICF cares about the nature. It's a lot of things that we care. And then I would like to take this moment to thank the staff of the participants of the ICF Academy. So you see Gabs and Simon on the screen, but there's Alexia, Georgi, and Pablo, and Gwen. A lot of people are working for this project, and I can say that this is almost the end of the 3rd month of the 2021. But ICF Academy is our signature, it's our like a diamond project for the 1st quarter of the year. So we would like to continue our tasks, our role as a connector to bring the people together to share the information. So we will continue this, and starting from next week, our Thanks to Camp campaign will take part, and then it is very important for us to grab the attention and focus on the values and the importance of camp. So we will get inspired by the stories from all around the world, our campers, our alumni, our friends, our teachers. So and we will be able to share these ideas with our membership, our friends in our countries. So this is very important, and our communication team and our Thanks to Camp program members will do their best to involve more as many people and as many countries as we can. And during the summertime, we will also start our virtual camp tours. So we will be guests. We will be hosted by camps in different parts of the world, and we will discuss about their situation, how they make difference. Virtually, we will say hi to their staff and campers, and we will show our support, and we will try to learn from their experience, and we will try to benefit from this experience. So please follow, and if you are willing to be a part of this program, and if you want to show your camp to ICF members, please contact with us. Our ambassadors program is going very well. So please contact with your country ambassadors and share your ideas with them or directly with us, and let's help us to expand our membership and the number of the camp peoples that we can touch, we can reach out. So for that matter, please, I would highly recommend all of you to follow our social media, both in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all the channels. Please follow us, and this is the best way to keep in contact with ICF and promote our social media to your members and to your staff. So make sure that they follow us and they use the opportunity to learn. And for those who are ICF members or affiliate members, ICF Connect platform is a great resource. You can see a lot of presentations, videos, and new games, a lot of useful information in our library, so that we updated and we share with our members. Please check what's going on, and stay tuned with us. So in 2021 was difficult, but we will keep working. We will do our best. We are hoping to get together in China as planned before. So please stay tuned, and we will inform you about the latest updates about ICC China. And starting from October, ICF Academy returns. So this was our last session, last academy session for this spring, and we did our best to be useful to our participants. And I know that many of friends watch these videos later, when according to their time zone, and we will focus on our camps, and we will do our best to be prepared and get ready for the upcoming summer. And then after summer, we will return back. We will return with ICF Academy with new ideas and new presenters. So I wish all of you a great summer, and we look forward to sharing either our ideas and best wishes in Thanks to Camp campaign. And thanks for everyone who put a lot of effort for this ICF Academy. It's amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So best of love from Istanbul, Turkey, to everyone in ICF.
Thank you, Fari, so much. And yes, it's very important to help support ICF, and the best way you can do that is by following us on our social media feeds. If you go at the bottom of the chat, Gwynn had put this in our chat, and it's a great suggestion. If you go into the chat at the bottom, there's 3 little dots. If you click on those 3 little dots, you'll see something that says save chat, and then you'll have all of the wonderful links that Gwen and Alexia had posted throughout our chat today, and all the wonderful messages that everybody shared with us. So thank you again for supporting us by doing so. Now, it is time, which Gwen has been talking about since the very beginning, the big finish. So if first things first, please turn on your cameras. We can also get rid of this. It's time for the big finish screen. We want to see all of your faces, and we would love for you to hold up your sign. If you don't have a sign, that is okay, just your face. We would be privileged to have your face on the screen. And just to hold up your sign and make sure that your face is peeking through, and we will have a nice picture. I'm going to do a countdown. I'm going to start at 6 because I know some people still need a little bit of time when it comes to getting their sign ready. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and look right into the screen and hold up your sign. If you don't have a sign, a wave or a smile is wonderful. If you can cross your eyes, that's very cool. Good for you. Really appreciate it. And hold for 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much, everybody. Very much appreciated. What a wonderful, wonderful workshop, and what a wonderful way to end our series in Camps in Crisis and trying to build resilient staff. And our wishes go out to you and your organization for whatever is to come in the future. And if there's one thing that I've learned from camp professionals is that we are problem solvers and we find a way. And last year, ICF found a way to bring voices to camps, because camps need to hear from us. They need to hear from our campers. They need to hear from our staff, our families, our alumni, and from you. And ICF launched the very first international marketing campaign that turned into a movement. And because of what a wonderful event that was, and how we got voices to camps and lifted camps up, this year, we are launching our second international Thanks to Camp movement starting April 6th. Now, there is a website, thankstocamp.org, and in there, you can find all of the materials that you need to promote Thanks to Camp in the sense of sharing your Thanks to Camp story, using the hashtag Thanks to Camp, or just simply finishing this Thanks to Camp sentence. Thanks to camp, I found my best friend. Thanks to camp, I learned how to swim. Thanks to camp, I have a voice. All of those work, and the more personal, the better. The goal is that we use Thanks to Camp in almost everything on social media. The more we use it, the more we can create connections with our governments, with sponsors, with our families, and bring pride to our staff members who needs this so much right now. So in a couple of days, we will be announcing the specific time of Thanks to Camp, but please pay attention to our social media feeds, because Alexia is amazing at updating whatever we need to know as the days move forward. So thankstocamp.org is where you can get material to help build your campaign, and it's for an entire month from April 6th to May 4th. So you have time to build your campaign and give your camp a voice. Thank you for listening to my little spiel. And thank you to everybody that joined us this morning, this evening, this afternoon, and this tonight. I know for some of you it was quite early or quite late, and just seeing your faces is just makes me feel like, you know, we're all in this together.